It's spring and it is finally warm outside, which means I'm gonna be so much more active outside, so I decided we're gonna make joggers this week. So come on, let's go to the studio and make some. So I changed, I'm back in the studio, and I am ready to make some joggers with you. So the pattern I designed that you can download comes in sizes extra small through 6X, and you can get it at sewanastasia.com. You can print it out on your home printer, use it on a projector, or send it to a printer. So to make these joggers, you're going to need a few different supplies. You're gonna need to choose a fabric for the pants, you're going to need a nice stretchy fabric for the cuff, and you're going to need some elastic for your waist. The pattern is designed for 2-inch wide elastic, but you could always extend the waist for wider elastic or make it narrower for smaller elastic. Also, the pattern comes with hidden side seam pockets. I'm not going to be demoing those today, but you can totally add them and check out my video on pajama pants for exactly how to add those. Today, I'm going to be adding a zipper patch pocket. Some people love the side seam pockets, but for jogging, I love a zipper pouch so nothing bounces out. You're probably wondering, what kind of fabric should I use for my joggers? Well, today I'm going to be using a type of windbreaker fabric so it has a nice, strong, crisp hand to it. But you could use sweatshirt fleece, you could use regular fleece, you could use satin, you could use silk chiffon, you could do all different types of fabrics for the joggers. So choose whatever you like best. You just need to make sure that you're using a stretch fabric for the cuff of the jogger. The first thing you need to do is cut out your paper pattern and your fabric. I've already done that, so let's check it out. So I have 2 pieces cut out for the back, 2 pieces cut out for the front, and 2 cuffs. Now let's get into sewing. So today I'm going to be serging my seams together, but if you don't have a serger, you can straight stitch these seams together and you can finish your edges with a zigzag or an overcast stitch. Unless you're using a stretch fabric, then you're gonna wanna make sure you're using your lightning bolt stitch or your zigzag. The first thing we're going to sew together are the seat seams here. So front to front and back to back. And we are going to serge these 2 layers together. Make sure you have them right sides together as well. We are all serged up. Let's take a look. On the inside, we have a nice serge seam. And then when we open it up, we've got a nice strong seam here for the front and the back. Now it's time to make our zipper patch pocket. First thing we're gonna do is finish up our edges. I'm going to be serging. You can also zigzag or overcast. Then what we're gonna do is take a nice visible chunky zipper here, and we are going to fold under the one edge and place it right over the zipper tape. And then we're going to top stitch it down. After that, we are going to turn under our edges about 3/8 of an inch on this side, the bottom, and this side here. Now that we're done with all that, we need to position it where we want it on the pants. I'm going to be putting mine on my left front thigh, but you could put it on your butt, you could put it on your hip, you could put it on your knee, you can put it wherever you want, really. So let's go ahead and position it and pin it down. Make sure the ends of your zipper are turned under. Now we're gonna top stitch all the way around this rectangle. So because we have the little nubs of the zipper here, we wanna avoid sewing over that. So I have my A-foot on still, but I've moved my needle position all the way over to the left. So that way I can get a nice top stitch. And we're done with the pocket. We are going to unzip it and check that out. We got an awesome pocket on the front of our joggers. So you absolutely don't have to do this, but I want to. So I recently embroidered these adorable butterflies, and I thought, why not add them to the joggers? So I embroidered it on some mesh, and now I'm going to attach it to the bottom right leg of the joggers. And if you want to do this and need help sewing a patch on, make sure you check out my video on that. So I just finished sewing the butterflies down to the pant leg, and they're looking great. If you're enjoying creating joggers with me, make sure you subscribe to Sew Anastasia and hit the notification bell so you know when all the new videos come out. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for watching today. Now let's get back to finishing up these joggers and trying them on and going for a run. Next, we're gonna place the pants right sides together. We're gonna sew up the side seams and the inseam. So I'm gonna place these right sides together, and then I'm gonna sew from the waist all the way down to the ankle. on both sides. And then I'm gonna open this up and I'm gonna sew the inseam together from the ankle all the way up to the middle of the crotch and then all the way down to the other ankle. I'm gonna be using a serger for that, but again, you can use a straight stitch, a zigzag, or an overcast. And we're done with those legs. So you can see we've got our inseam sewn up, and we made sure that our under seams here match up when we sewed the inseam, and our out seams lined up really nice as well. Now we're going to attach the knit cuffs to the bottom of the jogger, essentially making it a jogger. So follow along as we put some cuffs on. First thing we're gonna do is place these right sides together, lining up the short sides. And then you're going to serge or sew together this short side here, leaving these ends open. Now you can see these are nice and serged together. Now we're gonna fold the cuffs wrong sides together. So we're gonna take it and fold it in half so the wrong sides are together, and you're gonna end up with a nice finished seam on the outside and on the inside. Now that we have our cuff all prepared, it's time to attach it. So what we're going to do is take the cuff and put it in the pant leg, and I'm gonna line up my seam with my inseam. Now what we're gonna do is stretch it out and make it fit the rest of the pant leg, and then you can either serge it together or sew it together. And to make this easier, you're gonna wanna stretch it and then clip it together if you're putting it in the serger, and if you're using the sewing machine, you can go ahead and use your pins. So I'm stretching it out, holding it, and then clipping it. Stretching it out, holding it, and then clipping it. And now that we've got that all clipped together, it's time to go to the serger and serge it together. Let's take a look at our cuff. I turned it right side out and now we're looking cufferific. We are so close to being finished. All we need to do is get that elastic in that waistband. So let's do it. Now what we're gonna do is serge all the way around the opening so it has a nice clean finish. And then we're going to fold it to the inside 2.5 inches down. And then we're gonna sew right next to the serge all the way around the waist, but leaving a 2-inch opening so that way we can go back and get the elastic in there. Now we have our casing all ready to go. We have that opening. So grab your elastic and a safety pin and let's get that elastic in the casing. So I put a safety pin on the end of my elastic so it's nice and easy to get through the casing. So I'm going to start in the direction that my seam is facing, which is to the left of me right here. So we're going to insert it in the opening and go towards the left. So getting it started can be a little tricky. Make sure it stays nice and flat for you. Give it a push with your back right hand and then pull it with your left, and you should start to see the elastic moving through the waist. And you're gonna work your way all the way around the pants. Just keep bunching it up. Just make sure you don't lose the elastic inside of the waistband. So now when you get it outside of the opening, what we're going to do is remove the safety pin. We're going to overlap the elastic about 1/2 inch, stitch back and forth a few times to secure it. So make sure you're not making a seam with the elastic lining up with the raw edges. Make sure you're overlapping it so that way it's nice and flat. So I sewed that together real quick and that is nice and strong now. So now we're going to pull the elastic into the waist, even it out, and then you're going to notice this opening here. So now what we need to do is pull the fabric flat and we're going to sew up this hole that we have here. So I'm going to close up this hole here, making sure I back stitch at the beginning and the end. So a couple stitches forward, a couple stitches backwards, and continue. I'm going to come into the previous stitch that's already there by a few stitches and then back stitch and cut. Now what we're gonna do is a few rows of stitching in the elastic so that way the elastic doesn't turn on us and it stays nice and secure in the casing. So when you do this, you wanna make sure that you're stretching your fabric and your elastic at the same time. Make sure you're not stitching down pleats or gathers into the waistband. Now I'm gonna do one at, let's see, 3/4 of an inch, and then I'm gonna do one in the middle of that. I'm gonna start at my center back seam. I'm going to be using a straight stitch when I do this, just making sure that I back stitch at the beginning and the end. Notice how I've stretched it out. Sew a bit, stop, rework it, stretch it out again. When you get to where you started, back stitch and cut. Cut any threads that you have, make it look nice and clean. And now I'm going to do a stitch in between these two, making sure I'm starting at my center back seam. Overlap your stitches, back stitch, and cut. Cut all your threads, and we're done. All right, we did it. Let's go over some details. I am just loving this waistband. It looks so nice and professional. If I didn't know any better, I would think we bought these from the store. Adding those extra lines of stitching and the elastic just really gives it a nice finished touch. Also loving the zipper pocket, so I can put my cash, my ID in here, my phone, and it is not going to fall out. And no one's gonna steal it from me if it was on the back pocket. So it's right up in front, so I've got access to it. And then I love the extra detail of the embroidery that I did on the designer Epic 2. It's such a nice, fun little touch. And then you can see that we have our classic jogger bottom with the stretch knit to keep it nice and close to our ankle. And they fit great too. I would love to see your joggers that you make, so make sure you tag Sew Anastasia, and I would love to share them with everyone else. If you have any questions about making joggers, make sure you leave it down below, and I will get back with you as soon as possible. And if you're not already a subscriber, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when the new videos come out. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for watching today. And don't forget to add me on Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and all the social media, so that way we can stay connected and creative together. Also, if you want the jogger pattern, make sure you download it at sewanastasia.com. And in super exciting news, later this spring, we are launching the Sew Anastasia Sewing Academy. So make sure you keep your eye out for that. And if you're in Chicago, you can come in and take sewing classes in person with me. Check that out at sewanastasia.com. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.